Hello and welcome back to the Able to Care podcast. I'm your host, Andy Baker, and today we're diving into a story that speaks volumes about mindset, identity, and refusing to be defined by your challenges. Sabina Thorpe is a successful entrepreneur and property investor, but her journey didn't start with confidence. Growing up with a speech impediment, Sabina faced judgment, misunderstanding, and moments of deep self-doubt. But instead of shrinking, she learned to grow, building not just businesses, but a belief system rooted in resilience, bold action, and self-worth. In today's episode, we'll explore what it took to move from silence to success, what worked, what didn't, and how she's helping others rewrite their own stories. If you've ever felt like something about you might hold you back, this conversation is your reminder you are not your limitation. So, Sabina, thank you so much for joining me today. Pleasure to have you on.
You're welcome, Andy. Thank you for asking me to come on.
So first off, can you take us back, Sabina, to what it was like growing up with a speech impediment and how did it shape how you saw yourself?
Wow. Okay. So right in there, Andy. I love it. So gosh, I had a really horrific childhood in terms of school-wise. I loved school. I loved learning. I loved being part of the school community. But I got bullied a lot throughout my schoolhood. Actually, it was just because. So I have a stammer, and it was really, really bad. I would stammer over every single word. I would stammer where I would just say silly words just to cover up the stammer. And yeah, it was quite challenging when the fundamental development years, 0 to 7, 7 to 10, it was really, really bad. Like more or less every day I would get bullied. There would be this particular group that would hunt me for break times, lunch times, you name it. They wouldn't really give me the space really at all. But I guess from that, looking back, I was quite resilient. Really, I didn't let some of them have affect me at all, but it did affect me in terms of the confidence. So growing up, like school years, hardly had any friends, hardly like spoke to people. I would just go to school, do my work, and then come back again.
Yeah. So not an enjoyable experience at all.
Not an enjoyable experience, to say the least.
What were some of the earliest messages you absorbed about your voice then, and how did those messages kind of influence your confidence?
God, it really knocked me back a lot, actually, because I thought it was just me, nobody else around me, none of my family had a stammer, nobody at school had a stammer, nobody in the news, the channel, the TV, we only had four TV channels growing up, no social media. So for me, it was very, very lonely, because it was like, so it's just me. There is something wrong with me. Every day I would ask God, I would ask me, I would just speak to the universe and just say, why me? Why is it me? I can't see anybody else with a stammer. And that really takes a knock-on effect on your confidence growing up. I learned not to talk. Plus, coming from a Asian Muslim background as well, women back then were taught like not to speak a lot. So not only did I have a stammer, some of my family were actually ashamed of me having a stammer because it was classed as a disability. It was classed as, there's something wrong with her. And then on top of all of that, I grew up in a community, the culture where women shouldn't really speak at all. So there's me, really inside. I am dying to actually talk, but I can't. A, because of my stammer, and then B, due to my background as well.
Mm. It's a lot to overcome, and obviously we've met a number of times before this, and you're definitely not silent anymore. You seem very willing to put your hand up and say something, and that's what drew me over to you to have a conversation about this. So what was the turning point? Was it an experience, or was it a decision that made you say, I'm going to stop letting this define me?
Yeah, so it wasn't just a snap thing that I just thought about. I guess the snap thing was the decision, but just leading up, right? Because if I look back at really everything, what led me to that snap decision was the fact that throughout my life, I asked my mum, my dad, my auntie, really uncles, brother, sister, to actually talk for me. I would ask them, just the simplest of things. Please, could you ask them to give me a different size to actually try on some clothing, some food. I don't know about this particular subject. Please speak to the teacher. Just little simple things that everyday person would just be able to actually overcome. But I couldn't, so I had to rely on other people, and it came to a point where I would have to ask them again and again to ask for me. B, it would be the fact that they would never ask the question that I would ask, or the way, or whatever actually answer that I'm looking for. And then I think it was about, I must have been 17, 18, Andy, where I just thought, you know what, really enough's enough. I just can't do this anymore. I can't get other people speaking for me. If I don't speak up now, I'm never going to speak up. So something just switched, and I was like, right, okay, you need to overcome this somehow. And just something just switched in my own mind, where I was like, right, okay, you need to speak now. And the other thing is, Andy, it's really bizarre. Growing up, there has always been this thing inside of me that will not let me be quiet. It just will not silence me at all. It says, Sabina, you have to talk. There is a story in there. There is a message you have to say, and I can't explain that, but it just will not let me just be quiet. Because do you know something, Andy? Something really funny is that I actually tried learning sign language growing up, because I thought, you know what, I'm not going to be able to speak. I'm just going to have to accept this. So I actually started learning sign language. But yeah, even then, I was like, you need to speak. So, because I think it's very important for not only somebody with a stammer to see somebody else that has a stammer, that is successful, that is actually speaking, that is standing up for themselves, but also a woman in a Asian community as well. There are not that many of us are around. So for me, it's about inspiring people, telling people that, look, if somebody like me can actually do and achieve the things that I have, you can too.
I love that. And generally quite moving, a little bit inspirational. So what works for you in learning to manage or overcome your speech challenges, and what didn't?
I tried everything, Andy. Like if somebody would tell me, stand on your left leg, point north, I would actually do it. It was that bad. So I tried things like I tried eating almonds because that's, they say, speech improves. I tried that. I tried hypnotherapy. I tried NLP. I tried speech therapy. You name it. I tried everything out there, and I guess a few things really helped me. I guess number one was the switch, the mindset. Because if you've not got your mindset in the same setting as you have internally, you're always going to be like this all of the time, battling. So I guess that was the biggest shift in me. The second shift has been an amazing friend of mine, Tony Burgess. He has really helped me in terms of havening and just exploring what it means to have a stammer and to really accept it and have tools and techniques to overcome that. And the third thing that has helped me is something called the Maguire program, which is a program set up by stammerers for stammerers. So do you remember Gareth Gates?
Yeah.
The famous the clip of him stammering and then not stammering. Well, he also did the Maguire program, and we did that together as well. So that had also helped as well.
That's awesome. So that kind of answers my question, really. But were there people, tools, or strategies that made a lasting difference in how you communicate today?
Lasting impression, yes. Seeing people, like, when you see people talking and you see people on stage and you're like, wow, I would love to speak like you. I guess that's been my inspiration, like seeing people on stage, not anybody in particular, but just people that are out there speaking, that have got the energy, that have got the audience engaged, I guess. And then the Maguire program taught me that you need to actually slow your speech down. You need to slow it down, and you also need to take deep costal breaths as well whenever you talk. Now, I don't do that all of the time, which is why I'm stammering through this podcast as well. But for me, it's about showing people as well that somebody that has a stammer, how do they talk? How do they conduct themselves? Because I can easily switch on my breathing. I can slow everything down, and then that makes me become a fluent speaker. When I do that, people are like, well, you haven't got a stammer. So it's like the message that I'm trying to get across to other people that have either got a stammer or have been bullied or have got something in their life, and they're trying to overcome.
Like that. So I suppose an element of like you do have a stammer. That's kind of who you are, isn't it? So it's almost like I am right-handed. But with a lot of practice, I could write left-handed, but I have to do it really slowly. I'd have to really concentrate, and I could get really good at it. but when people hear you speaking, you're almost writing with your left hand. So then it's a case of that you have to work really hard, you have to really focus. So it still doesn't just come naturally to you, not to your natural state is the stammer. Is that kind of a fair comparison?
Yes, to an extent. I guess the other thing is that I love to talk. So when I'm talking, my brain works quicker than I can actually speak. So it's just slowing the whole process down is challenging, but it has to be done sometimes.
Really. I suppose I think you obviously have surrounded yourself with a community and people, and I think the way you present yourself with confidence when I've heard you speak, that it doesn't matter. It is like it's okay that you write with your left hand or your right hand sort of thing. It doesn't matter who you are. I think there's a confidence that you now bring that's changed that perspective. Would you agree with that a little bit?
Yeah, 100%, Andy. And I guess a huge thank you to that is to Tony Burgess. He has really helped me not only accept the stammer, but also to accept me, accept Sabina as Sabina, and to accept loving me as well, loving me the way that I am. I am okay. Everything I need is inside of me. That's been the difficult bit to accept. But with lots of, encouragement, support, I have now been able to actually do that.
It sounds like he's been a very positive influence.
Oh, yes, 100%.
So, as well as him, how did you build the kind of mindset that allowed you to step into property investing and entrepreneurship despite those early barriers?
Okay, so if I take a step back from the property, before that, I worked for Shell Global, so I was part of the corporate world. Left the corporate world with a stammer and with a big fear of actually speaking to people on the phone. So what does somebody do, Andy, that has a stammer and they're scared of speaking to people on the phone do?
Well, I know what you did, which is not what anybody else would do.
I actually set up a call center, and I sat there and I made hundreds of calls every single day, and it was the pure objection was to overcome the fear. I thought nobody else is coming. Nobody else will be able to actually save me and actually help with this. All of this is down to me. So I sat there and I made hundreds of calls every single day. For the first few hundred, it was very grueling because sometimes it would take me 10 seconds to say hello. Somebody would think there was nobody there on the other line, hang up on me. And sometimes I would stammer over every single word, and somebody would think there was something wrong with the line, hang up on me. But I just persevered because it was something that I was really, really passionate about conquering, and I did. And I set up a team. I actually trained other people to actually sell the financial services that I was selling, and then I actually took those door door to door, started knocking on doors, started speaking to anybody, shopkeepers, community centres, you name it. Anybody that would stand there, I would just sell to. And I got 100% conversion rate doing that. And I thought, wow, I am onto something. I built a great client base. I actually bought in 2 other businesses, and then I sold the whole finance business then to Betfred. And from there, I actually started my property journey because I can't just sit still, Andy. I love business. I love setting up, selling, scaling businesses.
Love that story. I love that narrative of doing the thing that you're scared to do. You ran towards it rather than running away from it, which is absolutely inspirational, in line with my mantra as well. It's so amazing to hear somebody else saying it. So, have you ever felt though that, despite all that, there has been times when your speech was holding you back from relationships or opportunities, and how did you process that emotionally?
Yeah, so throughout my life, I do feel like my stammer does hold me back because sometimes, not all of the time, but sometimes, for example, even to this day, I still have a challenge with my stammer. And for example, if I go to networking events, if I go to particular black ties, certain people do leave you out because you're not quick enough to actually start that conversation, or they actually see you and they see, well, you're a woman in a man's world. What is it so I do face that quite a lot. But then I actually have self belief, is the fact that I am there not because I'm just somebody that just turned up. I know what I'm talking about. I have self belief in what I've done, what I've achieved, and I also have self belief in the fact that what I can actually bring to the table as well.
Definitely. Definitely. That's it. There is, if you took everything away as far as your story is concerned, you're still, an incredibly successful woman, just standalone. And then you just add this sprinkle on top of being something you've overcome. It's amazing how sometimes adversity seems to drive people sometimes, isn't it? How do you feel now when you reflect back on the version of you that used to hide your voice or hold back in conversations?
Wow. I feel really sorry for her. I do feel that she was very misunderstood. And if she could have seen the other people that have a stammer, or other people that have got some adversity, and they have overcome that, or have that self confidence, I think she would have been able to turn that corner a lot sooner, I believe.
That's it. It's exposure to it. As you said, it described it really. It was quite moving when you were saying that you felt like you were the only one. There was nobody in your family, nobody on TV. And yeah, you reminded me back when there was only 4 channels.
Yeah, no.
And we always knew what we wanted to watch. Now,
Yeah.
millions got no idea what we want to watch.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that exposure to that, and that's the benefit of you doing things like this podcast, for instance, is being upfront and honest, going, yeah, this is me and I'm okay. So hopefully somebody will watch this in the same boat and kind of recognize that in themselves as well.
I hope so, Andy. This is the whole reason why I would like to actually speak up and actually speak out and speak on stages, speak at podcast, because I want people to see me, not only Sabina as the successful businesswoman, but Sabina that had the stammer, Sabina that has the stammer as well, because there will be people out there that have stammer and they don't know who to turn to. There will be women out there that are feeling lonely, and there will be actually Asian women out there really again thinking, hang on, I'm speaking out, and I'm the black sheep of the family, or I'm classed as the black sheep just because you speak out. And I just want to show all of those people, and just to actually say to all of those people that it is okay to actually speak, that it is okay to stand in yourself, and actually whatever your purpose, your message is, you need to get that out there.
So let's go into a little bit in the leap into business. You've obviously described your journey a little bit, but what drew you to property? Was it and general entrepreneurship as well, including the starting your own call center? Was it about control, freedom, or something else completely?
It was about so if I take you back to my childhood, I had one of the amazing grandmas and mums, right? So my grandma, she would always, so she came here in the 50s. Back then, women weren't allowed to even speak up or to even do anything. They were classed as second class citizens, and she had the will power to bring her family to the UK. She worked. She actually set up her own business. And do you know what it really is, Andy? Is that, so I saw her wanting the best and wanting to better other people. And the one thing she would say again and again and again is that set something up for yourself. When you set something up for yourself, you are your own boss. You actually can create anything big or small you want. She encouraged my dad to actually set up his own business. So I've seen my parents set up businesses, my aunties, really uncles, everybody surrounding me at that time all had their own businesses, and that just totally inspired me. And I thought, you know what, that's something that I'd like to also do. So I always set up businesses, I guess. Even when I was actually working for Shell, I wasn't thinking like a employee. I was thinking like that's my own business, and therefore I was able to actually progress throughout my career faster, because I was thinking outside of the box. Regarding property, then again, my grandma would say you have to buy property. It's the only thing that is never going to lose value. And I was speaking to my friend Tony, and I was like, look, this is something I'm thinking of. And then he was the one that actually started me off going down the property journey in terms of looking at training courses, looking at masterminds as well that I could be part of as well.
If you are caring for someone else, whether paid or unpaid, and no matter how many hours you do it, did you realise that you may be missing out on thousands of pounds of discounts for things that you may use every day? The Able to Care podcast is proud to be sponsored by the UK's #1 carers card. Started by two best friends who recognise that carers deserve better and are 100% committed to helping to change the lives of all carers and bringing them together as a strong community. Carers Card UK provides support, recognition and rewards. It offers reassurance by providing an ID card that helps access emergency information when needed, while also unlocking discounts, a wellbeing hub, a carers circle tool and a community through their app. All of this for less than the price of a box of chocolates a year. There are discounts on gym membership, days out, electrical goods, clothing and even glasses. Let others know you care while taking a little care of yourself with an ID card you can be proud of. Visit carerscarduk.co.uk/promo code/able to care today to order yours. So, do you think your personal story has helped shape your business values and how you work with others?
Yeah, yes, I think so, because I am far more empathetic about people's challenges, A, and B, I'm the kind of person that I want to see you doing well. So if there's something that I can do to either bring in a skill, bring in a team, set you up with something so that you can then take your journey to the next level, I actually do that for all of my team, because it's something that I wish that I had.
Do you mind if I ask you something maybe a little bit personal? I don't know whether this is a usual thing to ask, but how does it feel to have a stammer? How does it kind of work or feel in your brain in the best way that you can explain it? Because obviously for somebody who doesn't have one, it's difficult to really understand. So yeah, what does it feel like?
What does it feel like? That's a very good question, Andy. I've never been asked that before. What does it feel like? It feels tight some days. So, for example, my jaw clenches whenever I do stammer. Today is a really bad day, actually. So my jaws clench, my the eyes close. None of this is something that I can control at all. So when I'm in it, when I'm actually stammering, i.e. the eyes are closed, the jaws clenched, I feel out of control because I can't really do anything. And then the other thing is that my brain works twice as fast as my speech. So I've already got the second sentence before I've even said the first sentence out.
So your brains carry on working. So you know the word you want to say. It's not like you're struggling to find the word, but your body won't allow you to formulate the word and say it. So are you having to, because sometimes I notice you kind of almost backtrack on the sentence to then start it again. It's almost like having to run up to that word.
Yes.
Or sometimes you'll kind of just, you wait and seem really patient with the fact that, no, I'm going to get that word. Are you having to kind of repeat that word in your head as you say it, or are you just waiting and being patient with yourself?
Yeah, so two things there. The first thing, when I do repeat that sentence, is because I've not been stuck in that particular word. So I think, right, start again. When I'm stuck really inside that word, my jaws are clenched, the eyes are closed, and the same thing, the same word repeats itself again and again and again until it just comes out. Sometimes that can take half a second. Sometimes that can take 3 seconds.
Is that something you've had to overcome as well? The frustration with yourself?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's a lot because sometimes some people don't have the patience to actually stand there, wait, listen. Some people just either switch off and just walk off. Some people switch off and I can see them looking in different places. And then I'm thinking, Sabina, hurry up. And that's all that's going in my mind. Or some people will then complete your sentences. When they do that, I still have to let that word really out. So I can't. So if somebody completes that sentence, I then don't go, oh, that's it. That word is actually stuck. The sentence is actually stuck that it needs to come out. And then sometimes the person that's completing the sentence says a completely different word. And then that word's going round in my head. I mean, right, stop that word. It's actually this word. So there is quite a lot that does happen within those few seconds.
And is there, so if you get frustrated, either with yourself or you feel like other people are getting frustrated with you, because as you mentioned, sometimes it's solely self-inflicted, like you want to get this out. It's really important to you. You want to give it with passion, but then you just like there's hurdles that are coming up throughout that sentence. That must feel quite like, oh, like, stop it, me. Other times, maybe it feels more an externally forced one where other people seem to be impatient with you, even though you feel comfortable. Does that make it worse as well? Does that actually exasperate it, or does it not make a difference?
Years ago, I'd say yes, it did, but I've just learned to accept that. I've learned to accept people are not doing it out of anything bad. They're doing it from a really good place. They're doing it from a place to help you. And the self-inflicted bit, yes. When I'm stood there speaking, and the words are actually stammering, and I guess the other one is actually when I stammer when my children are there. That's when I get really annoyed with myself as well, because I don't want them to pick up on the stammer and actually start doing that as well.
Oh, so yeah, with younger children, they then are going to carry that on, not because they have a stammer, but because they think that's the way that you speak or how you should speak or say certain phrases and stuff. Oh, that's quite interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
When you study people that have stammers, there are two things that can happen. The first thing is there's some kind of a childhood trauma that leads you to that stammer. And the other thing that leads you to the stammer is copying somebody, your hero, somebody you look up to, that has a stammer really as well. And your kids, they look up to you, don't they? You are the whole world to your kids. And I take that really literally as well. And I am very mindful when I do speak to my kids and when I do take them, because I take them everywhere with me, because I'd like them to see the business world, B, them seeing me speaking, even though I've got a stammer and actually speaking, because they're going to face challenges in their life. They're going to face challenges. They're going to face hurdles, stumbles, and I'd like them to have the mindset of, do you know what? This is a stumble. How am I going to move past it? Or I can do this.
Yeah, that feels, I can tell that's important to you. And obviously it's again, a different part of the challenges that you've encountered that you've had to think about and nobody else would understand that kind of thought process and stuff. But there's also an inspirational that anybody could look and think of things that way as well, to kind of go include my children in everything I do to show what I can achieve with who I am.
Absolutely.
So what advice would you give to somebody who feels different or not enough because of how they speak or move or process the world?
I guess the first thing is the acceptance of yourself. I truly believe, Andy, that you have been brought onto this earth for a reason. You are the way you are because there is a reason for that. So the first thing is to accept it. I know it's not as easy sometimes. It can be quite difficult to accept it. But the quicker and the sooner you do that, and you start to accept self-love, and you start to get the self-confidence and the self-belief, the better it will be, because then that isn't the only thing that is going on in your world. Number two is to get the right mindset, because that's key. Self-belief is totally different, but to have the mindset that you can achieve anything, no matter what, is key. And number three is just to hear other people, see other people. Like, you are who you surround yourself with. Listen to people, seek out people. Now you don't have any excuse, because you've got social media, you've got Google, you've got AI, you name it. You have all of the tools at your fingertips right now.
Yeah, is it utilizing those? So it's like finding the route to be the best you can be, rather than that you can't be. Yeah,
absolutely. And then the other bit is don't stay in the background, because I spent years doing that. Like, when you step out into that light, you will see you have something special to actually share with people. That's where you're going to find your tribe as well. You're going to find your tribe. You're going to find your purpose, and you're going to find that reason as well.
I think it must be difficult, or maybe it's changing. As you said, you described the kind of the group of kids when you were at school who used to find you to bully you. And then you just said there about finding your tribe. And I'm sure there's many people out there who've been bullied or being bullied, who sometimes feel, again, isolated. And it's just, you're in the wrong tribe at the minute. Just keep searching, find that group that accept you unconditionally for who you are, value who you are. But also it's starts with you. I always think like it's all cliched, isn't it? You know, you need to learn to love yourself before anybody else can love you. I think love is a fleeting thing. I think self-acceptance and self-belief that you've referred to a few times is absolutely vital.
Absolutely.
That you are okay the way you are. That doesn't mean you can't look to improve and grow and be more, but it's okay to be who you are. And I think there's an acceptance of that.
Yeah, and I think that's getting harder now, Andy, with all the fake the fake the fake AIs around and social media, the magazines, etc., because they want you to be a particular way, and if you are not, then you're not the norm. You're not part of the group, etc. And that self acceptance is really hard, and that is the biggest challenge that anybody will face in terms of accepting themselves and actually standing out in the light. Because if you think about it, we all want to be accepted. We all want to fit in, and when you don't, you're like, well, who am I? And this is something that I tell my kids all of the time, is that, do you know what? It's okay to be you. You are you. We accept that. You're not going to gel with all of the people. You're not going to gel with a certain number of people, a certain type of person. But just think about all of the positives. There are people out there that will like you for you, and don't ever change. Don't ever change to be accepted by somebody else, because if you have to change, then that means that you're not being you. And maybe not today, tomorrow, but sooner or later, you're going to start to get resentful. Like, hang on, I have been changing myself, and I'm still not accepted, or I'm still not loved. And that is tough, because I've been there.
That leads me on nicely, really, to what do you feel educators, parents, and leaders can do better when supporting young people with speech differences or any communication needs?
Andy, this is a great question, because since having my kids, so my son is 12 and my daughter's 11 right now, I have seen that for kids, there isn't any kind of personal development, any kind of mental health support really at all. I'm not saying there is only support there if you are in the extreme of something, but your day-to-day life, there needs to be a lot more support. There needs to be a lot more in terms of the mental health, talking about that to kids, not only just talking to them, but also giving them the tools and the techniques to help them. Because I truly believe that if you can give the kids, when I mean kids, I'm talking about as young as 3, 4, 5, 6, if you give these kids the tools to overcome challenges, how powerful and how great will they become? I'm talking about tools like, for example, breathing, learning how to really breathe, learning how to control that stress, the whole, the overactive part of your brain, to calm that down, to breathe, to actually deal with stress, to actually techniques such as yoga, havening, NLP, these are just five fundamentals that I truly believe that every child should have in their day-to-day lives, because when they have that, they can deal with all the exam stress, the bullying. They can learn to accept themselves, love themselves. They're not. They don't have to be waiting on other people. And since having kids as well, I've seen the number of teenage suicides, because of stress. Why? Because of the exams, because of people getting bullied. It's so sad. But if we could have given them the tools and the techniques to learn to deal with stress and get them connected with your personal development, speeches, the books, because people learn through reading, seeing, hearing, whatever form suits you. Do that, and I think the world would be a much better place. As you can see, Andy, I'm really passionate about that for kids. Really am.
You're joining a group of many of us that they should be more focused on emotional intelligence,
100%.
resilience, mental health, growth mindset, mastery, and self-esteem. And critical thinking for me as well is one that should be in there, rather than a lot of this they are being taught. Kids are struggling, but the outcomes still seem to be the main focus. But we always, the tides are turning. There is certain pockets of recognition that, like, I know we talk an awful lot in the similar mentorship groups that we're in. Mindset is all important, and self-care and putting yourself first to then be able to achieve the most that you can is so important as well. And kids need to learn that, but also we need to craft that world for the kids to go. If we want them to do better within school, then they need to be better in themselves first off. Absolutely. Rather than just pushing them to be better with their outcomes.
Yeah, and I also think, Andy, part of that, we also need to teach the parents the tools and the techniques really as well, because to be fair, not many people do know about havening, NLP, breathing techniques, etc. So I think the parents, because how many documentaries are you seeing now where kids have got some kind of illness, or that are mentally struggling, and the first thing the doctors do is actually give them tablets. And what side effects are the kids? I'm talking about kids that are 6, 7, 8 that are having like really, really strong medication, and that is screwing them really up for their early adulthood. But then, right, so if we take that and then we actually give them the tools and the techniques to actually deal with some of the things, that might help them.
Definitely. And it's a conversation we have an awful lot on the Able to Care podcast, as far as the journey with some of the teachers who are trying to do it right, some of the caregivers who are trying to do it right, and parents who've had to support their children through difficult journeys as well, kind of saying exactly the same thing as yourself as well. So it's that personal experience you've gone through that's kind of made you reflect, going, I wish I'd had these things when I was younger. Yes. And maybe recognition that things are even harder now for some people in different ways. But yeah, harder in other ways, isn't it? So obviously, do you want to tell a little bit about, obviously, you've got a number of businesses and entrepreneurs. So tell us a little bit about what fingers have you got in what pies these days, Sabina?
Well, I'll talk about kind of recent pie that I am part of right now. So I have my property business, but also right now we have a data business, and the data the data business, which is built by my two business partners, John and Christian. They have built this amazing platform that can do two things. The first thing it can do is that it can find you specific deals. So, for example, if you're searching for motivated sellers, if you're searching for Airbnb deals, if you're looking for student deals, for example, it can search for that. We've got around about 2,000 users using that right now, and then we have also got a platform called DeskVal. And what DeskVal can do is we are totally disrupting the valuation space. What we are doing is using data and AI to value properties. We're valuing residential, HMOs, multi-unit blocks, new build, semi-commercial, you name it. We can actually do that. And the biggest USP is not only can we value every asset class, we also have got PI insurance as well, which no other platform has. So what I'm doing in that is the role that I have is to knock on the doors of the finance sector, i.e. the high street banks, the bridging companies, the lenders, the financial institutes, and actually talking to them about DeskVal, and actually taking out the human error of the values, because right now quite a lot of the values are actually based on what a human thinks that something should be worth, rather than letting the data, the evidence, the facts dictate that. And the sector is loving DeskVal. We are a new company, and we are totally disrupting that space right now.
There's quite a lot of chatter in that particular community about what you're doing, which is exciting for you, definitely. So obviously you've gone on overcome many challenges. You've set your sights on where you wanted to get to. So what would you say to the younger Sabina, the girl who maybe stayed quiet when she had something to say?
Oh, wow. Is something I would say to the younger Sabina is that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. Just take one day at a time and just be strong.
It will get easier. It will be different. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
And kind of last question. So what's your message to anyone listening who feels like their voice, whether literal or metaphorical, just doesn't belong in the room?
It does. It really does. Your voice really does matter. And the sooner you get that message really out there, the sooner you start to stand out in the light, you will see your voice, your message, your purpose does matter. And I would say, look, if somebody like me with a stammer, a woman in a man's world, the Asian, if I can overcome all of these obstacles, so can you as well.
Thank you so much, Sabina, for your time and inspirational message. It's been a genuine pleasure having a conversation with you. When I heard a little bit about your story, obviously I approached you straight away going, I think this is something really meaningful that other people should hear as well. So I'm hoping people out there will find it beneficial. So thanks for coming on today.
You're welcome, Andy, and thank you really again.
So for any of you who have listened or watched this and have found anything inspirational, please pass it on. If you know of anybody in your world that could maybe do with the message of how to overcome the challenges in life and lead on to amazing things like Sabina is, then please like, comment and share. Otherwise, see you next time.